Good afternoon and welcome to Yorkshire Voice this Tuesday, April the 5th. I'm Charlie Bergman. On today's programme, school uniform exchange helps out parents struggling with soaring costs and the award-winning cyclist who's changing his community by encouraging people to get on their bikes.
All cyclists by nature tend to be very friendly people, very welcoming people. I have been cycling for a long time now, and the number of friends I have made is I can't believe it.
But first, the news that Channel 4 is to be sold off. The announcement has come from Culture Minister Nadine Dorries, but has already been met with widespread criticism from within the media industry. The television station has been a staple of British television for the last 39 years. The decision to privatise Channel 4 comes after the network has been expanding in the north, with their headquarters in Leeds. Phoebe Morton reports.
The government's proposal to privatise Channel 4 could have a big impact on Yorkshire. Last year, Channel 4 moved into this building to set up its Leeds HQ, and on the 22nd of March, the 7 p.m. evening programme began broadcasting from Leeds. Steph's Packed Lunch is also broadcast daily from Leeds Docks. The decision has garnered widespread criticism. However, Nadine Dorries said that the decision was made so that Channel 4 could compete with streaming giants such as Amazon and Netflix. She also tweeted this: "I will seek to reinvest the proceeds of the sale into levelling up the creative sector, putting money into independent production and creative skills in priority parts of the country, delivering a creative dividend for all." However, that won't change the mind of people who say that the decision will be disastrous for Yorkshire.
Earlier on today, I spoke to Lisa Holdsworth, Chair of the Writers Guild and the Royal Television Society Yorkshire.
I think it's a terrible decision. I think it's political. I don't think it reflects the reality of the broadcasting ecosystem in the UK. They've done the consultation. Over 90% of it, we understand, was in favour of keeping Channel 4 funded in the way it is. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that they're going ahead with this. I simply don't understand the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, and obviously the move from Channel 4 to come up north to Leeds is a relatively recent one. And at the time, they promised loads of jobs, loads of new opportunities for people. How do you think this decision is going to affect the region and particularly kind of future and upcoming talent?
It's utterly disappointing. Channel 4, one of the reasons that Mrs. Dorries says she wants to do this is to improve levelling up in the media in the regions, although London is a region. Channel 4 are already doing that by moving their HQ to Leeds. They've got satellite HQs in other areas of the UK. I literally sat last week in a writer's room for a Channel 4 show with a load of people who haven't written for television before, for a new show that will bring on new talent. It's already happening. So the effect, I can only see it being a negative one, to be quite honest with you. If it is sold abroad, immediately there will be cost cutting that will involve closing down any offices that are not seen as important, streamlining of staff. It will be disastrous for the regions. So everything that Mrs. Dorries says she wants to do, she will actually put into reverse with this decision.
Yeah, and like you said, she said, Nadine Dorries, that most of the proceeds or all of the proceeds of the sale are going to go into the industry, be reinvested into independent production companies. You've touched on this already in your answer, but do you actually trust the government to do this?
Absolutely not. Their priorities are all askew. We're just coming out of one of the most dangerous times for culture in the UK because of the pandemic. And so I don't understand how that's going to happen. We asked for help for freelancers, help for the cultural industries during the pandemic, and none of it was very slow in forthcoming. So I'm really concerned that this money will actually just go into the government's coffers. And whilst I understand the need to generate income at the moment, this is a one-off. It's not sustainable, whereas Channel 4 put a considerable amount of money back into the UK economy and back into the UK television industry every year just by existing. So it feels like a bit of a hit and run on the industry. So I simply don't trust her to do what she's saying she's going to do.
Some strong views there from Lisa Holdsworth. West Yorkshire Police have released a new image of a teenager who's been missing for 4 years. 16-year-old Bernadette Berkey disappeared along with her 15-year-old sister Simonetta Berkey. The girls were reported missing in March 2018, but Bernadette is now believed to have been seen last Wednesday at around 10 p.m. in the Dewsbury area. Police are continuing to appeal for information to find both girls. This week is International Anti-Street Harassment Week. L'Oréal Paris has partnered with the Susie Lampley Trust to educate people about street harassment. In a recent survey, almost half of women polled had been followed or stalked. The head of the campaign, Saskia Garner, is calling on bystanders to step in to help women more.
Why is this new campaign so important?
Well, early findings suggest that people who've experienced incidents of harassment said that when a bystander stepped in, 75% of them said that that really helped the situation. But unfortunately, only in around a quarter of those incidents did somebody actually offer to help. So we want to really start filling this gap and really encouraging people to start standing up to these behaviours, to call them out, and to essentially try and make our public spaces safer and better places for us all to be in.
During the pandemic, Zero Waste Leeds set up a school uniform exchange scheme to help struggling parents. Now, the cost of living crisis has pushed even more families into financial difficulty, and the scheme is in demand more than ever before. I went to one pop-up shop to find out more. We all know kids grow so quickly and parents are constantly having to buy new skirts, shirts and jumpers for school. Over the Easter holidays, a number of uniform exchange pop-up shops have been set up across Leeds to help parents save money and reduce waste. I'm here at one in Morley to find out more. 4,000 tonnes of clothes end up in Leeds black bins every year. Zero Waste Leeds want to put a stop to this. The School Uniform Exchange project allows parents to take second-hand school uniform for free, helping the environment and families who are struggling financially.
Being a parent myself, I know how frustrating it is when kids grow overnight and that uniform that once fit now doesn't. So it's been really handy to be able to say to people, don't worry about that. Right now we're seeing more people preparing for September, especially those that are moving up to high school, because that is a huge cost. And obviously with everything that's going on with the cost of living, we're expecting it to be really busy this summer.
We've got things like gas and electric going up, food prices going up. So when it comes to particularly summertime, when they start school in September, I think a lot of families are going to really struggle to find the uniform. The average cost of uniform per child is over £300, bought brand new. So to help families, we provide all of this uniform and it's all free. Last week, for example, I gave out over 200 items and had 35 people through the door, which is actually double what I'm used to. So I am seeing a gradual increase. I think by summertime, there will be a massive increase. I think a lot of families will realise the benefit of actually getting good quality second-hand uniform for free rather than going to the shops and buying it.
The Leeds School Uniform Exchange is run entirely by volunteers. Parents across Leeds can get involved by finding their nearest exchange on the website. And, like me, you could even visit a pop-up shop and lend a hand yourself. A drama school that's been training stars of stage and screen for 4 decades announced its shock closure yesterday. The Academy of Live and Recorded Arts, or ALRA, closed down without warning because it was no longer financially viable. The Railway Children actress, Elizabeth Keats from Otley, says she is speechless about the closure, but tells Olivia Tansley that she remains hopeful that the closure of ALRA North won't affect the diversity of Yorkshire accents in television.
The wonderful thing about, exactly, my Yorkshire accent, on the subject of Yorkshire accent, mine got completely beaten out of me at drama school, and we were told and trained into a neutral RP with C pronunciation. And so it is amazing. The theatre, film and telly up north in Yorkshire is really strong, it's really quite powerful. I'm hoping and thinking that it's not going to affect, I think, it's not going to affect anybody who's been training up there to stay there and really work at home, work in Yorkshire.
Rob Burrow is receiving his MBE today at Windsor Castle for his service to the motor neuron disease community. Rob publicly announced in 2019 that he had been diagnosed with the disease. Since then, he has worked tirelessly to raise awareness for MND and show how it affects families all over the UK. Rob played for Leeds Rhinos for 16 years and has also been awarded the MBE for his services to rugby league. Earlier, I spoke to Jen Dodd from the MND Association, and I started by asking her what the honour means.
I think it's continued the incredible awareness that he's raised by bravely sharing his story with the world, and I think we're absolutely all delighted that he's receiving this award today.
And since he was diagnosed, there's been so much fundraising that's gone alongside, as well as awareness. What has this done to improve things for your organisation?
Well, we've seen a huge increase in the number of people supporting us. I think there's lots of people who hadn't heard of MND before, so we're reaching a whole new audience of supporters, from rugby clubs, runners getting inspired after seeing Kev and his team do the 7 in 7 and the extra mile challenge, as well as children, Leeds Rhinos fans, lots of local schools getting involved, and that's all incredible. And the amount of money that it's generating means that it's helping us invest in more research into MND, so we can hopefully better understand it and start developing better treatments, but also so that we can be there to give care to families affected by MND, so giving emotional support to children and young people, and funding the care that goes on in the 22 care centres which we fund nationally.
Amazing. And what can people do to support the organisation?
So as well as getting involved in fundraising, there's lots of ways you can support the MND Association. We do lots of campaigning so that the needs of people with MND are addressed by wider society, and that's just as simple as going on our website and you can get involved in a campaign there. We've also seen a huge increase in people getting involved with our local branches and groups. So we've got over 90 branches and groups nationwide, and these are people who give their time freely to support local people with MND. And that's something else that people can get involved with. Perhaps they've got a particular skill or they want to get involved with a local fundraising event. So we'd always be keen to hear from anyone who wants to volunteer and give us some of their time to help people locally affected by MND.
So, our congratulations to Rob Burrow. And staying with awards, a Bradford man has been celebrated at the City Sports Awards for his success in enthusing fellow Sikhs to take up cycling. The former international squash player fell in love with cycling in his late 60s. Satwant Singh set up the Bolton Road cycling group through his local temple, organising weekly lessons for beginners and long-distance excursions. Our reporter Ella Bicknell went to meet him.
Satwant Singh was in his late 60s when he fell in love with cycling, and not long ago he set up Bolton Road Community Cycling Group in a garage behind the Ramgarhia Gurdwara Sikh Temple in North Bradford.
Individuals on individual bikes as well. Like this bike was bought by an 81-year-old gentleman.
Running weekly cycling lessons on donated bikes, Satwant has inspired hundreds to take up the sport, and that work has been recognised at the Bradford Sports Awards, naming him the city's senior community champion.
I really feel very humbled with this award because I was doing this work as a community and I was being supported by the community, and I didn't realise that there are people from outside who are observing and looking at what we are doing, and they're appreciating what we are doing.
Satwant wants to promote people of all ages, all backgrounds to get behind two wheels. In the last few years, he's travelled worldwide with his bike, cycling across India, northern France and through Scotland for the COP26 conference in Glasgow.
Cycling has got so many benefits: cardiovascular, it is low impact exercise, it doesn't hurt your knees, it doesn't hurt your body in any way. On the other hand, you can travel into the countryside, meet a lot of people on the way. All cyclists by nature tend to be very friendly people, very welcoming people. I have been cycling for a long time now, and the number of friends I have made is I can't believe it.
The club has also been awarded hundreds of pounds from the National Lottery, part of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Hold on to your handlebars, This asset to the local community is here to stay and is on the ascent.
And that's all we have time for. If you have any stories you think we should be covering, please contact us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at YorkshireV. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye from all of us here at Yorkshire Voice.